Welcome to episode 1 of the Catchweight podcast with me, Corey Kelly. So this guy, I went to college with him. It's called Darius Mafi, and yeah, it's a good one. We chat about college and we chat about his career. Gets a little bit deep as well, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yes.
Oh my God. Is that your quarantine beard?
Yeah, it is. It was coming on a bit in December, but then everything needs a trim now.
I know my I usually have like the side shaved and that, but it's just, look at it.
One of the worst haircuts to have when barbers are like out of action, like because you just can't like touch up. I started doing the sides and stopped. Got a bit to here and it was going a bit mad.
My housemate tried on the side there. He tried to do it a bit, but I don't know. But the thing is with that, they're saying that hairdressers might be one of the last things to open again. So I'm just going to have to do it.
Yeah, it's going to get to a biting point whether either I cock it up and I'm going to have to just shave it or I can't think of that.
What, to shave it all off?
Yeah, so many people thinking they're looking like Jason Statham or something, just looking like an egghead, isn't they?
I could see you doing that though. It's keep that beard long.
Yeah.
Shave the head.
Yeah, it'd be all right if you've got like facial hair. I guess it can cover up the fact that you got none on your head.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll sings anyway.
Good, mate. I was trying to think before. Like, obviously we went to college together. What classes did we have together? Was it English or philosophy?
Philosophy.
Was it?
Yeah. With Miss Tench, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I seen her after college. I was working in Bury and I was walking and she was looking and I could see, I thought, why is this woman like glaring at me like as if they've seen a ghost? And I got closer and my eyesight ain't great anyway. Then I was like, oh, it's Miss Tench. And I realised like you're like looking at me like fear. She's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, just walking to work. And she's like, oh, right. So where are you working? Thinking I was coming into college.
She was weird.
Yeah.
I know this girl who was in like a couple of years below us. So she went in college when we were, and she did philosophy. And in one of like the introduction classes, she said something like, like it is quite hard. Don't worry if you don't get it straight away. I used to have this student. Put your hands. Does anyone know a guy called Corey Kelly? He didn't really get it. Like, you cheeky. Like, she put her hand up like, yeah, I know him. It's like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
I did all right in that.
Fully named you. Like, could have just said, oh, a lad called Corey or something like
Just,
it to be like, oh, he lives at this address.
Just there was this guy who didn't get it. How about that?
I was always in that silent study. I had to go silent study all the time because she'd always send me to silent study.
Really?
So I was, all the time. Then I'd fallen out with the actual people at the library because I wouldn't go and they'd report me. And then, or I'd go and I'd do one within like a minute and they'd write it down, this lady. One of them was proper jobs worth. So she was never letting me off. One of them was, because my mum worked there, English teacher. The other one knew my mum, so she'd let me off. Like she wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But, I even got to the point where she actually sent me to the new head that is now the head of the guy just become head at the time. After that, the good one left, Mike Aware left, and they brought in that weird guy who was like a reverend and proper dodgy. And they were like, oh, I don't care if your mum works here, I'll throw you out, sort of thing. And I'm like, what are you on about? I'm on predicted like 3 A's. What are you talking about? Like, you're gonna throw me out or what? Yeah.
Apparently it's gone down the pan a bit, Holy Cross, anyway.
It has.
Yeah.
They were asking my mum to go on the board. Some people were like asking her to go on the board, like and try and get involved. Because she's like, she was like Michael, them sort of people that actually put effort in, like, and were proper passionate about it. Where now apparently it's proper shit. Like, I remember like there was one teacher there, and I ain't gonna say his name, but like he said to me in history, he was like, and now he's head of history anyway now, so people figured out. But like he was coming to the first results, and he was like, "Oh, Darius, I think we should have a good think about whether you should be here or not, sort of thing. Whether you sort of like, whether you should be here, whether you deserve to be here at college. And I was like, what? And he's like, there's other things you can do in life. So the next day comes, for the first lot of results. And every single, like the whole class near enough got like E's, D's, U's. I come out, I think, with basically like borderline A.
Mm.
Me and I think one other person were like way at the top of the class. So then when the class was over and he was about to walk out, I was like, oh, you know what? I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, and I quite like the look of this college. I like the place. I think I might stay. Yeah, fucking idiot.
What history was it? Was it normal history? Or?
Normal history, yeah.
It's because I did ancient.
Yeah.
I don't know what thought that was doing with that. Well, look at us now.
Yeah, I ain't using much fucking history.
Did you do MMA in college then?
I was doing kickboxing at the time, like bits of kickboxing, and it was like called continuous kickboxing, where you could only kick above the waist. You couldn't kick the legs. And yeah, it was like karate. They had like even points fighting. Yeah, like Wonder Boy style. Wonder Boy was a champion in that type of kickboxing. Raymond Daniels, Michael Page, Venom Page was a man in karate kickboxing then. He was like the proper guy. And I was training with a guy, local area, who was a world champion called Mick Waters, like full few-time world champion. Good round here for all that. Some of them lot one of them had beat Venom Page, one of the ones from this like gym, like these whatever group, I think they're called Shore Eye or something. One of them had beat him in Ireland, and so they were all like shit up. So I was doing that for a bit, but I always wanted to do like wrestling, grappling, like fighting, so I always wanted to do that, and they weren't really doing that there. They do like, if they were going to do anything other than like karate kickboxing, it was going to be like old school stuff like aikido, which I was not interested in,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was really passionate about that, which was mad because he was such an unreal kickboxer. I was just like, please, can we just do like kickboxing, like not the aikido, but he fucking loved the aikido and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was looking for like MMA, and even then, I went down to, at the time, I thought, because I looked it up, and it was Michael Bisping was the only guy, and I was like, oh, Bisping, where's Bisping? Like, I've got to go where Bisping is, and he was like, oh, he's from Clitheroe, so I was like, oh, his gym must be in Clitheroe, and it was in like fucking Widnes. So I come out of school and I said to my mum, I'm like, oh, we've got to go to this gym, and like, so I go, I'm like, it's in Clitheroe, and all this, and then the day comes and I get in the car, I'm like, here's the postcode. She goes, that's Widnes. What are you talking about? I had no clue. And then she's like, oh, sack it, I'll take you anyway. Because you're like, I was like proper excited. So I've gone down there, and this gym was like the killers, like pure killers, like all of them. Like at the time, there was a guy, Paul Kelly there. He's a scary guy. He'd won in the UFC, scary guy inside and outside the cage. Bisping, all of them. And I've gone down there, and I was thinking, oh, you're a young lad, they'll show you the ropes, sort of thing. It was none of that. They fucking just beat the shit out of me. Like,
was Bisping there? Yeah.
Bisping were there, but he wasn't training.
Right.
Neither was Paul Kelly. He just fought, I think, in the UFC. So he was like resting. I don't know if like Czech Congo were there, like big guy, fought in the UFC. Rampage time, I think, was just slightly after. And I'd gone down there, and they just fucking battered me. I was just knackered as well from the start. I'd never felt anything like that. But I loved it though. And I even went back the next day. But the coach didn't even turn up. The coach had gone, and it was all a bit, the coach didn't turn up. No one turned up to the class or whatever it was. And at the time, I was like, you lot ain't even turning up. What? I've come all the way from Rosendale to fucking Widnes.
I think that was like a hazing thing, though. Do you know that they beat you up and stuff? Do you think that was so to see if you come back?
Yeah, they do that stuff in all sports. It's just, this is our pace. This is our gym. This is how we work. You're coming in here, you've got to either, grow with it or fall by the wayside. And that's especially in boxing. You get that in boxing a lot. You're going to a boxing gym, even amateur boxing's around here, there's very, very few that will actually coach you. Majority is all conditioning and sparring.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, get in there, show us what you got. And to be honest, it works because it's like you're judged on your character, your work ethic, and you're walking in there, you're already demanding things from the coach. It's like, who are you? Like, you think you are, that you can just come in like, this guy's going to spend all that time. You could not turn up tomorrow, like, after him spending all that time. Where if you're going in there all the time, you're pushing hard in the circus, you're pushing hard in the sparring, you're getting in there and you're showing them with your character and your work ethic that you're serious, and they'll then spend the time on you. They'll notice it. It doesn't go unnoticed, that stuff. So yeah, it's mainly about those sports, especially boxing. They'll be like, throw you in the ring, and a bit less now, and then you just get leathered. Some gyms is still a bit like that. Sparring day, even at the gym I train at Predators, like the pro sparring class or whatever, in a more like daytime one. That ain't like I've been in a few gyms like, and that's not like people going like solid, but there's a lot worse even than that. But generally, yeah, it is that if you're going in those classes, it's got to simulate to an extent what your fight's going to be like. It's rough because you're dishing out damage, but it's just part and parcel.
What do you think about that then? Because like I know a lot of top fighters now, MMA fighters, they won't spar heavy because they don't want to get knocked out in.
Yeah. Because, sorry, go on.
Well, they say like a lot of the damage comes in your training camps rather than the fight.
Yeah. Like I've been worse in sparring than I ever have in a fight. Like in a fight, I've never even been bothered really, to be honest. Like no shots even phased me at all. Like obviously I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not gonna leave my face out there to just get swatted all the time. And it's not a particular thing to be proud of that, I can take shots, that means you're getting hit too much. But yeah, in the gym it is like, because in boxing as well, a lot of MMA gyms, they don't wear head guards. Some do. In boxing they wear head guards a lot of time, protecting you from cuts, things like that, more than anything. But you wear one of those things with like a nose guard as well across to protect your nose. You can barely see, and the thing is massive as well. So like a lot of the time boxers will be sparring in them and they'll be full pelt walloping each other in them head guards, and all it's doing, the head guard is like a weight and it's just dragging your head all over the spot. You're getting hit more because it's a bigger target. You're getting you can't see the shots coming for a good few rounds. It takes you a couple of rounds to get used to it. So if you're sparring someone fast hands, you'll be taking so many shots before you even start really getting into it, which is why a lot of MMA people, especially with the grappling and things like that, they avoid the head guards. But yeah, a lot of the time now with the UFC guys that you're saying about, they're leaving the sparring, sometimes that's what they're saying, not necessarily what they're doing. Like but generally them guys have had like how many in the gym, how many rounds in the cage, so they're in that taper off period of their career where they know how to spar, they know how to get fit, they're calm in the cage, so they don't need 150 rounds in the camp to mentally and physically get ready. Because I'll roughly work out, like, I think, what did I work it out to? Paulie Malignaggi broke it down how many rounds he does to prepare for a 12-round boxing match. So I took that and basically copied it for like MMA, and I think I worked out like I was getting like close to 100 rounds or something for a 5-round MMA fight, 3-minute amateur fights at the time. I do stuff like that, make sure I get them sparred. So getting me accustomed to taking shots, because that's also a thing. People say, that's nonsense, but it's not nonsense. If you know what it's like to like get them shots, when you get in the cage, you're not shell shocked when someone who can hit or has got, hits you properly, because that happens as well. People that haven't sparred hard in the gym and it's their first ever fight, they'll go to the fight, they've not wrestled, competed in that before, because wrestling is a good one because you go 100% in the matches. So that 100% ball to the wall, he's grabbing me hard, I'm grabbing him hard, I'm wrenching his neck, twisting him up. Jiu-jitsu is a bit softer, but wrestling, hard pace if you've done boxing or something. But if you're getting in an MMA fight, you haven't done anything before, you've trained in the gym, you've done your sparring, you've gone in there and you get hit properly for the first time in your life. No one's taking it easy on you. It's different. You see guys' faces, you see in their eyes, like it's like that deer in the headlights. You see it, they're shell shocked because they're like, "What is that?" Even at the highest level, when you're getting someone like, I don't know, like a Golovkin, when you'd see guys, you hit them and they'd be like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
But that's the benefits of sparring properly. But also on the other side, if you're sparring so hard, you've been dropped in the gym. Like, oh, that Anthony Joshua got dropped off decent sources, really good sources, that he did get dropped leading up to that fight with Ruiz when he lost. And it takes a lot out of you. Getting dropped, people think getting dropped, like you get up or whatever, and you see them flash the lights in their eyes and they're all right. Where they don't, the guy's probably sick afterwards. He's like, mentally all day he'll be off.
Yeah.
It takes your pride of it as well. So all these things factor in. If you've been getting leathered all camp, that's what your mentality is, in that place of, I'm getting leathered. This is familiar feeling. When the guy starts beating you in the fight, you're like, oh, this is normal. I'm always getting beat. So you're already losing.
It's it's probably, it'll knock your confidence as well if you're getting knocked out.
Yeah. So like, fucking hell, this guy's knocking me out. He's not fighting for millions.
Yeah.
I've got to now fight fucking some guy who's a beast, who's fighting for the title. What's he going to do to me? This is probably, an amateur. And that's one thing as well that people don't see. There's guys in gyms, they barely fight, or they might not even fight, or they're amateurs, and they'll fucking leather people that are like pros. You think like, oh, the top pros going to like paste all them. You'd be surprised. Like, I've seen some guys that maybe had one pro fight, but a lot of amateurs that are fucking battered like pros. Like guys that had barely any fights. But yeah, it is, and then they'll take that the wrong way though. The pros sometimes, they might be like, it will hurt their confidence. Like, fucking hell, this amateur's leathering me.
But what if you bring in an amateur to like help with your wrestling though, and you're mainly a stand-up guy, do you think would that hurt their confidence? You think?
Yeah, it's one of them as well. Yeah, that's a different thing with MMA to boxing or kickboxing. Kickboxing is kickboxing. Kickboxing styles and stuff as well. You got your style matchups. One guy might give you fucking problems, another guy might be easy for you in kickboxing and boxing. But in MMA, because there's so many different aspects, you could be, Anderson Silva in his prime, smashing everybody up. But then you're doing a wrestling practice and you're getting full on, like, done over, all over off someone who's never fought, but he's a wrestler. And it's, it's a weird feeling because you're always going to places where you're not the best. Like a lot of your training and sparring, you're not the best in the room. If you're doing it right, in my opinion, anyway, you shouldn't be really in the room all the time. You're in the wrong place. But if you're going to jiu-jitsu, generally, you're going to be getting tapped by guys that's all they do. You go in wrestling, all they do is wrestling, so you're going to have a rough time there. You go in boxing, all they do is boxing. You go in kickboxing, all they're doing is kickboxing, preparing for their fights. So you're getting all them looks, which it all down to your own mental psyche. You can take that and be like, oh, it's not my confidence. Like, going to this kickboxing gym, I'm a wrestler. They're going to pace me. Or you can look at it like, this is growth. This is building me as a fighter. It's building my character because I'm going out of my comfort zone to compete with these guys, to train with them, to fight with them, or whatever. And it's also a different feeling. You go into a room where you're not particularly known in that gym. So, like, it's not like the same sort of thing. So they're like, oh, this is the MMA guy. I've got to put it on him a bit or something. I don't know. Generally, I think that's the thoughts. Oh, this guy's a pro fighter. They are going to think that up your game. So it keeps you sharp, helps you grow, and it's the way to improve. So, you've got to curb your ego at the door and get that growth.
I think that's a good thing with boxing and MMA guys. They don't, for the most part, have an ego because they've been tapped or they've been beaten. So,
yeah, you see all the time people giving it the big one out on the street. They're the same sort of people that come in the boxing gym or an MMA gym and their head will be down. They'll be quiet as a mouse. Put a couple pints in them on a Saturday. They're, toughest guy on earth.
Have you had that being out?
Well, most of the time I'm all right. Like, I had a few with the cars and stuff, more road rage people, but generally, like, out and about on nights out, I'm pretty calm.
I imagine you are, but have you ever had like
Oh,
anyone?
man. Not really, not particularly. Trying to think of maybe a few instances, like the odd time, but give a particular one. I remember there was just like ones where one guy was just off his nut screaming at his girlfriend in Manchester and they were full on kicking off, and I didn't realise. I'm just like edging past, like, and I didn't even touch him. I'm like this, like, sorry pal, like trying to excuse past to like go to get a taxi. I like, don't fucking touch me at all. It's like right in my face. And honestly, the guy was about 6 stone wet through and all this, and he's like right in my face. But even then I kept calm. I'm like, listen pal, this is not going to end well, like relax and all this. And he was getting close, and then his mate luckily seen it, grabbed him, and he was like trying to get him to calm down. Even she was like, oh, fight him, to a boyfriend and all. Yeah, she was like, fight him, because I think she was like, he's about to get fucking leathered as well. So she was like encouraging it. And then I'm like diffused it, and I'm like, right, whatever. So then I walk off a bit, and then these guys come over. They're like, you two mates, were you about to kick off? Because I'd gone to tell my friends, like, well, did you not just see that guy going nuts? And then these guys come over like, oh, was that your mate? And I'm like, no. They went, we thought you were kicking off. We were taking bets on like who's going to win. And I had like a striped shirt on. They were like, we were saying striped shirt guy's going to fucking kill him. But it's just stuff like, a lot of fucking idiots. Like, sometimes you have no option, you've got to defend yourself. But 90% of the time, you can get your way out of it pretty easy, like talk your way out, or by your own, I don't know, what's the word, like not through your character, but through how you're carrying yourself, how you're behaving. Like, if you're looking for it, you'll get it, like, off people. If you're going about puffing your chest up and acting like Billy Big Bollocks, you'll run into someone who'll test you. But
never the trained fighters that are doing that either, is it?
No, exactly. That's the thing. Like, I always make sure I exercise every day. It puts me in a clear mindset. I haven't got that pent-up anger from my job, pent-up anger from my day-to-day life, my upbringing or anything like that. And, I'm peace of mind where a lot of these people, they're walking around day-to-day, innit? Like, so pent-up and so angry and so hateful at the world that they'll lash out at people on a weekend. They're not looking at me or you like necessarily like, oh, they're just looking at us as a punching bag more than anything, just an inanimate object. They're not looking at the perspective that this is a person. They're just that warped in their head, and then alcohol, sniff, and all that in the mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally, fighters, the most humble people you probably meet is the fighters,
Definitely. Why did you want to get into it in the first place? What was like your first memory of MMA?
Like MMA, well, generally all the way from like being a little kid, like really little, I used to do little wrestling with I had these little toys. I'm talking like 3 years old, 5 years old. I used to like rag them around and just be I used to love like WWE and stuff. And my dad was Iranian, and in Iran, national sport is wrestling.
Uh-huh.
So he'd done a little bit when he was younger. He'd done bits. But he'd dislocated his knee, it gone right round to the back of his leg in a match. So that was the end of his wrestling. And so, yeah, I used to always do that and mess about and be messing about with my mates in school and stuff like this, rolling around and things like that. It was always in my head, which is weird. And then even in high school, like going on there, I wasn't like, interested in things. But fighting, it was like, he could beat me in a tennis match. It was a stupid mentality to have, but it was the way I worked. You could beat me in tennis, beat me in football, whatever, but if you beat me in like a fight or something, I'd be like fucking pissed off. Like the ultimate sort of competition in my head. Because it's like body against body, mind against mind, who's a better man sort of thing, which is stupid at the time, but just the way my thought process was going at the time as a kid. But yeah, I always loved that. As a kid, I wouldn't fight with people. It'd be more like, because I was a shortish lad, chubbish lad, if someone like thought to test me, I'd be like, okay, but handle it. But
that happened
in school, yeah, all the time. A few times in school, with Gabs as well. The odd kid the odd kid from Gabs, because I'd be like waiting for my mum to pick me up because she'd finish at Holy Cross. So it'd just be me stood there sometimes, and like, yeah, the whole school would be walking past. Oh, it was some rough times, but most of them were all right. Occasionally run into some trouble, but so yeah, it was, most of the time it was like in high school and things like that. But even then, my dad would be watching like K1 was on Eurosport, and he'd always watch that. So as a kid, I was always watching K1, and then it was mainly at school. I think people were saying, "Oh, there's these fights in a cage, and they're killing each other and all this, and there's no rules and all these things." And I'm thinking, "What?" I'm like, "This can't be real talking rubbish." Like, and as it's going on. I think my dad was watching. They used to have it on like Bravo or something. My dad was watching it, and I remember from being really like 3 years old or something. Like Ken Shamrock was like in WWE, and Ken Shamrock they called him the world's most dangerous man. And I was like watching it, and I was like, when it come on to the UFC, it was him and Tito Ortiz fighting. I'm like, oh, my dad was like, Ken Shamrock's fighting. I'm like, Ken Shamrock, he ain't gonna beat Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock, he's world's most dangerous man, like, he's like, and all this, and so then Tito goes out and fucking leathers him. But when I seen Tito as well, I was like, fucking hell, this guy looks like he's scary. They all look scary. They look like, I don't know, like comic book characters, something from a movie.
Was this in the UFC?
Yeah, it was in the UFC, and Tito was the champ, and Tito just fucking smashed him. And then it like destroyed my childhood, and I was just thinking, how's he done that? And as it gone on, then I started to realise they're not animals in a cage; they're actual fighters, and they're wrestlers. I was like, fucking hell, wrestling's the one that dominates in fighting. For years I'd always thought, striking, because I'd even seen on Eurosport, this was years ago, Josh Barnett interview, and I'd never seen him before. And I was thinking, who's this fat guy talking about wrestling, like pro wrestling and stuff? And they showed clips of pro wrestling. I'm thinking, who's this guy? And then he showed him beating Semi Schilt in an MMA fight then. And Semi Schilt at the time was unbeatable in K1. Heavyweight champ, like 7 foot tall, killing everybody. And Josh Barnett showed a clip of him just leathering him. And I was thinking, how's he done that, this guy? Where are all these guys coming from that I've never seen before that are supposedly, they're all fighters? And then as time's gone on, I realised, this is the real deal, but they're also martial artists and it's wrestling. And I don't know, it's like an internal calling. It was like something you've been looking for your whole life, like landed on you. So then that's when I started getting into it, more into it, and then, making trips to like the Wolf Slayer and things like that. And then really started picking up my grappling about 16 or so. I started getting more into the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling. Started them both at the same time, did that for a good few years. Went into uni, did my degree, carried on with the wrestling. I was doing wrestling there.
Did you get a sports scholarship, did I say?
Yeah, for wrestling, there. Most of the time at uni, a bit of a social, bit of wrestling. But
did you competitions then at uni?
There were no uni competitions. It were all like you're wrestling in proper competitions. Like we don't have them sort of numbers.
Yeah.
In British wrestling's a weird one. At the top level, you got some top guys. I remember years ago there used to be some really fucking good guys. Like there was like in one competition, I think you had like 3 legitimate world class wrestlers in the British Championships at one weight. I think 74 kilo. You had like real top level that had beaten world medalists and things like that. So you sort of hit and miss in wrestling in the UK. People think we're all shit, globally. But them guys, if you go to British Championship them years, to win that, you'd have to be a world-class wrestler to win that weight class. There was one guy beat 18 world and Olympic medalists before, and he was in it. There was a guy who'd come 3rd at the toughest competition in Russia, basically the toughest competition in the world.
Yeah.
So there's like guys like that. So if you think in the UK haven't got no wrestlers, they might not be English, but they have wrestlers. There are wrestlers about if you look hard enough. So yeah, it was mainly competing. And then after I'd done with that, I was still doing my stuff, but working like factories and things like that, and I was thinking, this ain't me. Like, and I was, no disrespect to the people working there, you know, I got massive respect for all of them working there. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, they've been there all their lives, and they were beaten mentally, physically, you know, breathing in like chemicals all their lives, that probably cancer and stuff like that. Just, you know, and I was like, I can do something else, go for something else, you know. It was like, otherwise this will be, you in 40 years, you'll be, you know, beaten down, you'll be regretting everything, so get after it. So then I started really going for the MMA then.
So did you stop training as well when you were in the factories?
Yeah, it was harder to train because of the shifts anyway. I was in the middle of nowhere as well. So as it gone on, I was able to go places and shift around and organise my schedule. But when I was in that factory, it was next to impossible to get to anywhere really to train properly. And yeah, during that time, like they said, me, you know, my life is sport. My life is MMA and combat sports especially. So a lot of fighters, you know, that happens to a lot of people. They go down there, they'll have the regrets. And there's a million fighters, millions and millions that have done that have sacked it off. But no, I've gone for it.
I guess you've got to have that drive to think that that's the only thing you can do with your life. You've got to sort of put that above it. You can't even really have a plan B. It's got to be, you know, MMA career or nothing.
Yeah. You've got to have like other things you can sort of go to that you're good at, you're passionate about, but it's your plan A. If you're like, oh, if I lose it, Cage Warriors, I'll go work this place. You've already given yourself like sort of a way out in a way. You've got to have like skills and things like this that you've got prepared and side hustles. If your sole focus is earning money from MMA, you're going to have a problem. It's going to leave you even more trouble because you ain't going to have the funding. You're going to have no money behind you unless you're going to, you know, got a lot of sponsors and things like that. So you're going to need your side hustles. You're going to need things you can go to in case something like this happens. You know, Corona, no fights going on. A lot of people losing their minds because their whole life has been their career, and then the career's gone. Even like, you know, my sister's a singer. There'll be people in that business, you know, opera singing and stuff like that, with events all cancelled. That people won't know what to do with themselves, are losing their heads. And if you've got then other things you can go to, like even in these times, you can work on internally. If you can't work on your physical and your technical, work on your internal, your mindset, your character. Read up on things about good growth mindset. There's things you can work on. But yeah, back more to the question. But yeah, you do. But at the end of the day, you do need that focus on that plan A. I'm going to be the champ. But you split that up further. It's not anyone can say I'm going to be the champ, UFC champ. So how are you going to get there? You don't even won a local show. You don't even want to fight. So what are you going to do? So you got to have like your big goal, your plan A. Going to get to the UFC, I'm going to win the title. Then you bring it down. Okay, first I'm going to get my amateur fights in. If you've done nothing, do a few wrestling comps, a few boxing matches, grappling, do amateur MMA, win titles, then go pro. Look to win a few fights, then go for a pro title on a local show. Then go to Cage Warriors, win a few fights, go for the Cage Warriors title, win that. So you've got all these incremented goals amongst like your main goal. And at the same time, planning little side hustles, things where you can earn some money at the same time on top of your fight, so you're not struggling all the time. But yeah.
Is your main, this might be a stupid question, but is your top goal to get to the UFC?
100%. That's where you've got to go. I think, you know, a lot of the time people are scared to say that. They're scared because they're like, people are like, you, UFC. People will be like, you, UFC. Or they'll say that to everybody.
Said that about Conor McGregor, I imagine.
Yeah. I remember when he come through from Cage Warriors into the UFC. I never seen him until his last Cage Warriors fight. Then he come into the UFC, and even me at the time, I'm like, Irish guy. What's an Irish guy going to do with the UFC? They get fucking leathered. Like there's going to be one wrestler come in and just take him out, and he just kept winning. And obviously, they're fighting wrestlers or anything like that. until they got to Mendes sort of thing. But he was smashing everybody. Elite fighters. It was like, these are different level fighters. Irish aren't ready for this. Like, and then he come in proving everyone wrong. Like, and even then people were laughing at him at first. He's a clown. He's a clown all the time. He's a clown. Wins a world title. He's a clown. Wins another world title. Or maybe he's not so much a clown anymore. And then like fights Floyd Mayweather for 100 million, and everyone, you know, is like, yeah, no, this guy knows what he's doing. And that's what it is, you know. I don't believe in getting into a sport like MMA unless you want to get to, you know, the top, because it's not that sort of game. Like, if you're going in boxing, combat sports in general, and you're sort of playing it, you're in trouble. Like, yeah, you are going to get hurt. There's the classic example. I think even Joe Rogan mentioned it before as well, like about Marvis Frazier, Joe Frazier's son. And Marvis Frazier, he was, you know, because he was Joe Frazier's son, they were building him up, and to be a boxer, and his heart wasn't really in it. He wasn't like focused, but he was building an unbeaten record. I think got maybe 16-0. Then they matched him up with fucking Mike Tyson in his prime, who was about 19 and training like militant, and his sole purpose was fighting. His life, he'd watch tapes as many as these like books and that I've got in here. He had fight tapes, watching over and over. Marvis Frazier fought with Tyson, and I think Tyson basically ripped his head off in about 20 seconds, like just destroyed him. Like, and I think that was the end of it, his career after that. And at the end of the day, you got in there with someone like that, they can kill you. Like, people think MMA, you know, you go after your fight and it's all, you know, sunshine and rainbows sort of thing, but it's not. Like this, like I fought last September, and even like my fight last March, when I didn't really take like physical so much damage, I was just fucked afterwards, like to the point where I was sat down, couldn't get up for like half an hour. And there's people a lot worse than that. After my fight last September, I was dying in the cage before I got out. And I'm like going to the back, and they don't show you these sort of things. You go in the back, and I look to my left where there's like a sort of a gurney, like ambulance sort of gurney, or massage bed type thing, and I've gone for that to lie on it. My opponent were already on it, lying on it. So I was like, I'll lie down next to him sort of thing. But like, no, you go sit down over here. And I was like, fucking hell, can I not lie on that instead or something? And I was just there like this, like slumped over for about half an hour. And by the time, you know, just people chucking cold water on me, just trying to like bring me around. The doctor checking my eyes and my nose. And I was just fucked. And but even when I got up, about half an hour after, like when I got up, looked at him and he was still down. Like, and this is just for an amateur title, like a local show amateur title. And people nearly fucking, you know, like killing each other. I nearly knocked him out, put my foot down, and then he was still there. And then he come after me, nearly finished me. Then I come out and finished him in the final round. But it was more just the exhaustion and everything like that, how much you've put in. Your body just keeps going and going and going. But like how you train your mindset to do that. But yeah, but that's just an amateur title, and two guys nearly fucking killing each other for it. And both of us, you know, he was from a camp where they're all good fighters that go fight in UFC, Bellator, all these shows. I'm from a solid camp, good fighters. So we're both from good gyms. We're both like, you know, prepared. We were like two professionals fighting, and that's for nothing. And we're both like near enough killing each other. So it's you can't go in MMA even at that level, at amateur level, and play games because someone will put you in a bad way. Like you see it with now white collar. Like some white collar fighters shouldn't be fighting. No disrespect to white collar. Some white collars, all right, let it go, it's fine. Some people, you know, they're doing it for charity, this, that, and the other. It's good cause. But some people, they're not built for fighting. There's a reason why fighters look like fighters, right? And there's a reason why like regular people ain't fighters. It takes years of that, building your body and things like that. Just a will of fighting. But people, I've seen a lad, he'd gone in, this fella, kids, wife, 4. I think a lad who'd maybe done a boxing before, and then he had like a stroke. I seen in the news like a few days later, and nearly died. And he's got, you know, wife, kids, and things like that. And he just works in an office, and it's like, you've raised what, 200 quid for charity, but you're in fucking hospital.
What was that? A white collar boxing match?
White collar boxing.
Why is he? People just want to test themselves, don't they? But
like, it's like, what sort of? Some people, they want to come in, like, start training, and they want to do it properly, and over three months, then they want to fight. But there's a lot of them. People enter white collar with like a complete deluded mindset, like this is going to be great fun. Like a fight in a cage is going to be great fun. In 8 weeks, I'll be right. It's just deluded, and they just want to scrap. But the thing is, they could go in there with there's a regular guy works in an office with a guy who might have been an athlete all his life. Like where I coach in Bolton, pound for pound boxing gym. Well, where I was coaching till Corona.
What's happened with that?
Well, it's just we've had to like obviously shut till it's back open.
Okay, it's not going to be shut forever. Then it will.
Yeah, no.
Right, good.
Yeah, some of the lads that come in there, they haven't really trained before. They've done bits of wrestling, maybe at Bolton Wrestling Club, and they've done bits of boxing here and there. And some of them are fucking monsters, like these lads from the local area. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, I wouldn't want to be like a guy coming in an office fighting with you, like after 8 weeks of training. Some of them, I was training them, and some people had come in that had done a bit, and they were fucking battering them, like guys that like had maybe done a few years, and these lads had done like a few weeks, and they were like giving them problems. So like,
they get thrown in though with the white collar boxing guys sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why though? I remember I went to an event a few years ago, and because a guy from our office was doing it, but the guy he was fighting, it was just another guy from an office. It was fine, but another guy on the card who we also kind of knew, his opponent dropped out. So they brought this guy in. They brought this beast in who, like, because usually with white collar boxing as well, I think they all keep the tops on, don't they?
Yeah.
Headgear. This guy come out, no top on, ripped, no headgear, and just walked across the ring and smashed him in the face, and the ref just stopped it there and then. He'd been training for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
for it to be over in 20 seconds.
Oh no! There's a lot of things you can do for charity, and I'm for some white collar and stuff like this. Like Predators, they do it, and it's really well vetted. They make sure, like, Gavy's not going to just let people get fucking leathered. Like, he's going to make sure that, and it's all sort of done in the same, with a gym that's affiliated. They've got their white collar guys, so that everyone is vetted by everyone from the gym. You're not like going against another gym that might be bullshitting and putting a bunch of killers. Like, I remember my friend Brendan, who's in Thailand, the top fighter. He brought in these lads, and they were like white collars, but they were like beasts. One of them's in the UFC now, and he's in the UFC, and they fucking banged everyone out at this Inter club. People were looking at him like, "Who the fuck are these guys that you've brought? You brought actual fighters to an Inter club or whatever, like a white collar, to fucking twat people." And he was like, "No, they are beginners, like." Yeah. As well, they're just.
What's he called? Who's in the UFC?
That's Lerone Murphy.
Right. What weight class is he?
Featherweight. He, good fighter. He made his debut short notice against one of Habib's mates. One of them who McGregor smacked.
Oh yeah.
That. Yeah. He was the one he ran over and McGregor chins in. Lerone fought him, and he's one of the toughest Russians you can get. That guy. He's like one of the toughest. Like good hands, good wrestling, good grappling, the full package. And he'd been training in Thailand and preparing properly. Lerone rocked up, I think it was after 5 weeks of training, been on holiday, trains in England, and that guy was complaining about the heat in fucking where was it? That one where Habib beat Poirier. Was it in Abu Dhabi?
I think so, yeah. Oh, was it on that card? Yeah.
Yeah. Lerone, and the guy started well, dropped Lerone, then he was gassing bad, and the Rome were coming after him. Nearly finished him, I think, in final round. Was really going after him, and it was a draw, which was a big result. Like, get a draw against that level guy on short notice. The guy was a legitimate top 15 UFC fighter. So them ones are always a hard matchup for guys over here, Russians, because they can wrestle, they can strike, they can do the lot. So yeah, he done really well. But you had guys like that entering, starting out on a white collar. Like, imagine getting that guy. You're watching TV years later. Remember that cunt? It's fight for a fucking world title.
Oh man. Well, you know that your last amateur fight. What were you doing for work at the time?
What was that? I was going, doing bits in the garage. Then I was going to training, doing my training, then going back. I organised my schedule pretty diligently, even doing the odd like PT here and there. But generally, it was like I still getting the hours. But I was like, ruck training wasn't too bad. They were quite understanding. But at the time as well, it was a lot going on with my dad for that last amateur fight. As well at the time, that was when I was starting to like ease off even on work. I was training a lot and working a lot. I was eased off after that. It was like a lot of care time after that, I think. But what was it, September? So about a month after that, it was more like care stuff. But like, all that time, I was still able to organise for that. And March, I was able to organise for. It was all right. So the September one, it was just keeping your schedule, and that's even now same thing. Like,
what work was it though? Was it? Did you say in the
programming?
garage?
Yeah, programming, labouring, parts.
Yeah.
On top of the training, bits of programming, bits of stock take. But yeah, so I'd sometimes be in the factory as well, doing bits. Just those two mainly. But it was all like sort of like still contracting, sort of going in, doing my thing, getting off.
Yeah. Did you have to go into work though on the Monday after the fight?
Always book that shit off. To be fair, like, I'm trying to think how bad I was after that. Because on the Sunday, I was doing this thing called thin air therapy, which is like called adaptive altitude therapy. And what happens is with altitude training, you're training at altitude or with the mask on or something, and you're training hard, but the altitude doesn't change. So all you're creating is dead cells. What adaptive altitude training does, put the mask on, and as you're struggling, it lowers down. So all you're getting is a better sort of a transmission of oxygen to your body. So you're getting loads of oxygen pumped around. You're not getting the negative effects. All you're getting is the benefits. And that's really good for anti-inflammatory and fitness as well. Because what he's doing is getting to spots you can't get to with ice or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting to your brain. Like, even like your shoulder will be a niche. Your shoulder's all right, and you're like, how's that? Healed my shoulder, and it like gets to just spots you just can't get to, and that helped me. I literally did that the next day, and I did it every day for like 5 days after the fight, just to get all the shit out my system, all the aches, all the lactic, and everything. So, but yeah, for anyone fighting out there, definitely book your Mondays off. And Friday's the thing for weigh-ins. So that was a lot of the time on weigh-in day. It'd be my dad's chemo day, same time. So that was always a bastard last year. Like for that September one, I was like, we were at the going to the hospital and things like that. When I'm having to cut weight and weigh in. So that was probably the hardest thing. You like managing like 3 things.
Yeah, I heard about your dad, mate. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but you know, it was around that time, like that September. It was a week before the fight. He thought, because it had gone to his brain, we didn't know. He was thinking it was a parked car. Oh, he didn't see the parked car. Sorry, police had already stopped him once and called up saying, you know, the driving instructors pulled your dad up. He's all over the road. And they thought he was drunk. So they called us, we've come, but he's not drunk. And I was like, all right, okay, we'll come get him or whatever. And they were like, oh no, we've let him go. Like, he's all right. And I was like, what do you mean he's all right? Like, fucking obviously not all right, is he? And then, so next minute, get a call. He's crashed the car into a parked car. So we've gone down there and all this, and he had no clue what was going on. So that even then, as it was leading up to like the fight, then I fought the fight. Even at that fight, he couldn't watch. His head was down, and even when I'd done that fight, been in the back for half an hour, dying, got changed, come back down with the belt, and he was just like, his head was down, and he was just like, "Are you done? Can we go?" That was all the thing he could say, because his head must have been pounding.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that, I'd done a wrestling comp 2 weeks later. Then he'd had like what we thought was going on, that he was having a stroke or something, but the scans weren't showing nothing or anything until actually my GP, who passed away this week from corona.
Really?
Yeah. I was at 59, the GP. The top guy, as well. Like, I only seen him at the funeral. My dad's funeral in January. But like, he pushed for it. He was like, listen, we're going to get this second scan. Like, they were trying to not give the second scan. So he was pushing and pushing for that. And then I was coming back from a wrestling comp, and we thought he'd had another stroke. Ended up in hospital, and that's when second scan gone through, and then they were like, it's gone to the brain. It's over, basically. But, fucking tough as shit. Gone for a long time, him. Never showed real weakness or anything, just the whole time. That's all you can do, just got to face it.
Bit of a inspiration, do you reckon, for your fighting career then, yeah?
Yeah, like, when you see that, like, I even mentioned when I posted it on my Facebook the other day, like, something where I was saying, even last year, I was like, put it in perspective. You could, at the end of the day, like, even today, or whatever, yesterday, tomorrow, you're getting up and you're like, fucking hell, like, I'm struggling today, I'm aching or whatever, I'm tired, I can't. It's like, listen, you're fucking breathing. Like, you're breathing, aren't you? What more motivation you need today to fucking do something than the fact that you're breathing? You know what I mean? Like, you're alive, you've got your health. You'd be grateful for that. Show gratitude to be alive, where you're fucking getting up 11 o'clock. I'm keeping my time early because I want to be up to train hard, to appreciate the life I've got, planning my day, doing things through the day, to be that's life, that progress, living, all the same. And then, to see him, even in that situation when he was, full on goner, still was pushing. Even when he was in that state and they didn't know his brain was fried, he was still like trying to take the dogs for a walk. I'm like, listen, don't take the dogs. I'd go on, come back, and he took the dogs like for like an hour. And
he probably just wanted to feel useful, though, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And some people, they might, when you got someone in that state and they're still getting up to carry out the most menial tasks, but with all their, sort of will to just carry out that day in, day out, that consistency in that state, that's inspiring. Because, to have that level of consistency in like the most menial things, anyone, it shows your character, you're that type of guy who's always going to, commit to things.
Did he like you fighting?
Yeah, he loved the fighting. He loved it. I think he loved fighting more than I did, to be honest. Like, literally all my life watching the K1, things like that, WWE, all that. He loved the fighting. Like, I actually seen, it was weird today, I looked at it, come up on this phone, it logged into his YouTube account, and I looked at as I put in the top on the search, looked at all his searches, and it was stuff like wrestling, fighting, kung fu movies, and then like then just my name as well in the middle of it all. Yeah. So it was pretty funny. Yeah, everything was like bits of gardening tutorials and shit like that.
Who was his favourite UFC fighter?
Who was his favourite? I'd probably say Romero,
Was it?
Yeah. It's probably Romero. Or, to be fair, he liked Gaethje a lot as well. And Randy Couture, people like that.
wrestlers then.
Yeah. He loved the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
people that fought though. I like people that fight. Like even I'll be like, people think, oh, Darius is going to watch this. He's going to be like, oh, I've been grappling, blah blah blah. I'm watching fights. And I'm like, will these lot start fucking fighting or what? Like, can they just start fucking scrapping? Like, I'm one of them guys. My dad was like that as well. Want to see fights? Like, he's well and good. Away from, I'm like grappling guy, but I love a good tear up.
Is that kind of your mentality when you're fighting? Then is it to put on a good fight or is it to win?
Yes, bit both. Yeah, put on a good fight and win. But at the end of the day, I'm just thinking probably just mainly focusing on winning. But even then, I'm probably the forefront is going out there and fighting my plan, fighting the way I fight, pushing a pace, getting on them. I'm aggressive in all types. In wrestling, I was aggressive. Grappling, always aggressive. You know, it's just my style is aggressive. So I'll just go with my plan, go forward, put a pace on them, and it sort of always seems to be like an entertaining fight. But I'm just main focus is to stay calm, stay disciplined in the fight, and all I have in my head as well is I'm going to be here for however long it takes, which is why I admire a lot of the Gypsy, the Traveller sort of mentality in their fights. They'll go all day, no rounds, and they'll just fight till one man quits. And I like that, like, and that's what I have in my head all the time going to fight. No matter how bad you're getting beat here, no matter how exhausted you are, in a minute you might be all right. So just carry on, just keep fucking carrying on. He might break in a minute, so you just keep going.
What's like the 2-year plan then?
Well, what it was at the start of this year, or the end of last year, my main plan was to win a pro title by the end of this year and go for Cage Warriors next year, getting Cage Warriors or Bellator, one of the bigger European organisations in the UK, was what my plan was, and move on to try and fight for the title in Cage Warriors or somewhere like that, and have that pathway to the big leagues.
Is Cage Warriors, that's the biggest one in this country, isn't it?
Yeah, but Bellator have started doing shows here as well. Mm-hmm. But Cage Warriors has been going for years and years. You know, it's been proved to be foundations for the UFC. It's like a feeder league. It's like what Bury was for United.
Right.
Stuff, right. Like all on like McGregor, Bisping, Dan Hardy.
Leon Edwards.
He will have fought in there.
Must have.
Who else fought in there? They had just literally a laundry list of fighters, even ones that you wouldn't even expect, like that are top UFC fighters that have fought in Cage Warriors. We've had some pretty good fighters actually fight in this country. Anderson Silva used to be in Cage Rage for years.
Yeah, he did.
He was at his best really in Cage Rage, to be fair, at times. You know, the talent is here. There's a fucking lot of talent in the UK, like Australia and New Zealand. Actually, more New Zealand, to be fair. But like, they've had the backing now. They get a lot of shows. The guys are coming through. So the gyms are coming through. The fighters are coming through, and that's just going to grow. Like you're seeing it. Like that gym is growing all the time. The coach won Coach of the Year. Adesanya won a title. Volkanovski won a title. They've got that Riddle. Is it Riddle? Some guy's called Hooker as well. There's another guy come in and he fought against a Russian on a show recently, and I was thinking, who's this Australian guy going to get leathered off this Russian here? And then next minute he fucking leathered this Russian for 3 rounds. Apparently he was like a world champion kickboxer as well, this guy. He was built as well. He looked like a sick fighter. So they've got now, because they know they've got a pathway, they're going through, where the UK, we've got fucking loads of fighters. Just in my amateur division on Tapology was about, I think, 500 to 600 active amateurs in the UK and Ireland. So that's just one weight class of amateurs in such a small sort of country, opposed to like America. Fucking massive. But started putting like a contender series here, you'd have guys from Sweden flying over, Germany, you know, all these places, France, and
France have got a decent kickboxing community, haven't they?
Sorry, what's that?
France have got a decent kickboxing community.
Yeah, they have. Because in France, what happened was in France is they had no MMA. It was illegal till recently. So what they'd do is they'd compete in jiu-jitsu and they'd compete in Thai boxing. So a lot of the guys, they're all like good kickboxers now that are coming to like Cage Warriors and things. A lot of them have got a good kickboxing background, usually good jiu-jitsu as well, because that's all they were able to compete in.
Yeah. Right, I've got a few more questions and then we're going to chat about the UFC at the weekend. What is your proudest, I mean, you know, you're still young in the sport, but what is your proudest moment so far?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a weird one, actually. That's a tough one. I'd say coming back in that fight, my MMA career, definitely that was the best thing I've done, because our you know, in a bad spot and everything leading up to that with my dad and everything, you know, that was like, even proved to myself, like, fuck me, that looking back on it, I'm thinking, how the fuck did you do that, like, sort of thing, like, with everything going on around me. Because I remember even my friend said to me the day before, "You all right?" You know, things like this, and I was just like, "Yeah, time to fight." Like tunnel vision completely then. But yeah, to come back in that fight when I was like everything going on, actually something as well in the first round, something popped. I say what, but I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, but that happens in fights. It wasn't even that bad, but it was more in my head at the time. But to come through all that in the fight when I was beat, everything going on externally, like I even drove my parents to and from that fight, like drove my mum and dad down and drove them back after. So yeah, I just sat at home after that thinking, "Fucking hell, what a wild time this was." But yeah, I'd definitely say that, because I proved to a lot of people there, because everyone can smash people left and right, but when it's on you and you're getting fucking leathered, you find out who's, you know, a shithouse and who's like a real fighter. So you can go your whole career and not realise, you know, you could smash people through to a professional world title, and then you run into someone, they put it on you, and then you crumble, and that's the end of you. Where you found out that you never, you know, were a real fighter. So to find that out at that point in my career was good feeling.
Do you think afterwards you said you were just sat down? Do you think it was not just the fight, it was everything just poured out of you?
Yeah. Even like at the end of that fight, I get up and I'm like fucking screaming and there's like fucking blood coming out of my face and stuff. That one even like screaming like I won. That one more like screaming like "fuck you, life," more like sort of thing, like tried to fucking beat me. Like sort of thing. It was like literally that sort of tribal, like that basic of like fuck off, like have a bit of that, like nothing, like sort of thing can stop me, sort of thing in my head. That's why I got up and was just like, yeah, fuck this. Because all the way building up from the start of the camp, I was in like, you know, not in a good place, to then go through the camp, gradually bringing it up, and then everything going on at the same time to build up, and then to win it was a good one.
Yeah. Do you have any superstitions?
Not really, to be honest. I think if you're getting that in your head, it's a bit, you know, it's a weak mentality to have, I think. Like, I don't need one particular thing to do to make me fight better. Probably the only thing I do is I like make like fucking food before, like, and take with me to the show. Like I make like fucking flapjacks or something, like, because I'm bored like a couple of days before and I'm cutting weight or something, so I want something to take my time up. So I like make something like that and always take it to the fights. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't need superstitions. Superstitions are for the weak-minded.
What's your walkout song?
Born Slippy by Knox. You know, Train Spotting.
Yeah.
Always gets people going, that when it gets going. The only problem is it on a local show, it takes fucking ages, doesn't it, that song to get going. It takes like like till it starts like pounding. It takes like a minute and a half or something. So in that September one, it started and I let him stew in the cage for about fucking like a minute and a half before I walked out. So the entrance was about 5-6 minutes. He was stood there.
Do you know, why don't you like make an edit, like a little, cut it down a bit?
Yeah, I think I probably will, because every time it's getting to the point where it's like lager, lager, lager. I don't want people like shouting and shit. And literally the DJ cuts it every time I walk in the cage. I'll time it to be like lager cut. Oh, bastard, why have you cut that for? It's the fucking best bit. You're supposed to be a DJ. And I'm supposed to be thinking I'm fighting now, not what my tune's going on. But yeah, it's funny. But yeah, it gets me up. I used to have a different tune. It was like a garage tune, like Gunman, Lockdown 187. And it was like fucking like The Good, the Bad and the Ugly at the start.
Yeah.
It goes into like some fucking garage tune. But to be fair, that Born Slippery one, I like that. I think it's good when you got tunes that get the crowd like fucking like on one, rather than if you got some fucking well hard tune or people are just sat there like, oh, fuck off.
I always liked Chris Weidman's walkout music. Tom Petty, Won't Back Down.
Oh yeah, nice. Matt Hughes had a good one as well, like Country Boy Can Survive.
Oh right, yeah,
that was a good one. I always thought I wanted as well, like John Denver, Country Road.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I've thought about that a few times. It was a big United song as well. I'm like a United fan, but like I don't know, people might get pissed off. I'm coming out to a United song.
McGregor's is good as well.
His is really good. That's the thing with McGregor. He thought well outside the box, even with his goddamn like fucking entrance music, going with Sinead O'Connor, fucking Foggy Jew. Like, I'm Irish, my mum's Irish. And like going with something like that, gets them going, and then you go into Biggie. You can't beat that. Like, it's just
unbelievable.
Yeah. Even I like buzzed off that when it starts off with Sinead O'Connor and that.
Remember against Mendes when she was there?
Yeah. Oh no, she didn't look right there, did she? She looked like she was looking a bit worse for wear, wasn't she, Sinead? Like,
it was good though. It was still good.
Yeah.
And, Chad Mendes had that country singer, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bit. I don't know, like when Sinead started singing as well, it was like her voice was dying, like, and the fucking, like, you could hear it proper. And I think they cut that shit after that. Like, even like the country song didn't sound right because the fucking crowd's like screaming and shouting shit. So it's not really the right scene for that.
Nice one. Well, it's been good catching up, mate.
Yeah, up, man.
Yeah. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, speak to you soon. Take care.
In a bit.